So today on Project Shop, we're going to be stripping down some insulated aluminum wire. Unfortunately, this giant stuff is not copper, but I did notice there's a couple pieces of 500 MCM stuck up in here. Nice little bonus since I only paid $60 for this whole pile. I mean, it's aluminum insulated. This is 600 MCM. I don't know if you can see that with the sun. So what we're gonna do is get this over there by the stripping machine, strip it down. I don't know if I'm gonna get all this in a drum. I might make a giant donut and see how much it's worth and how much you can make an hour stripping insulated aluminum wire. Some people, a lot of times, my customers give this stuff to me. They don't think it's worth anything. It's really not worth much as is. I think it's worth about 80 cents a pound strip. So we're gonna get it stripped down and then see how much it's worth. Now when I picked this up, I also picked up some #1 insulated, some #2 insulated, and there's some transformers back there. In total, I think the whole load was about 800 bucks. So we're gonna go ahead and strip this wire down and do that by itself, just to see, you know, what you can actually make stripping aluminum wire. Okay, we got the wire over here ready to go through the machine. Now I'm going to try something a little different with this. Since I started making those copper donuts, I've always wanted to build a donut maker, something I can just throw the copper on where it'll basically pre-roll it, and then I could wrap it to transport it. So I'm going to try this just to prove the concept before I actually make something. This is my windmill for unspooling spools, and I'm going to use it to actually make a spool or make a donut. So, or at least we're going to try. So I'm going to start on this. Okay, so to do this job, we're going to be using some Greenlee cable cutters. Cuts through that aluminum like butter, and my automatic wire stripper. So first we got to set this thing up, and I like to use, like, I only like to go 80% of the hole, so no more than 80%. Like this hole here, it'll fit, but it's too tight. You wind up running all kinds of problems. No more than 80% and you're pretty good. So because, you know, that's aluminum for one, really soft, we really need to open these up, and you do that by turning these. It opens that gap, and we're probably gonna have to open these almost all the way and loosen the spring on top, because we'll be cutting, when you push it up, it tightens that spring, and then you'll be cutting into the aluminum. Now the back spring, I always leave tighter, because once you cut it on the first roller and it opens up, it's actually a smaller diameter. So when you go through the second roller, if you have them even, it's not going to cut. So you always have to keep that tight, and maybe even close it down a little bit. So we'll run one piece here and see how it goes. Alright, now you can see it's kind of cutting into it. I don't know if that was on the front roller or the back roller, but we'll just ease off the tension a little bit on that back one, probably. We don't want to be cutting into it. This stuff will stick right into the palm of your hand, man, and it sucks. Okay, still a little tight. We're getting there. One of them's still a little tight. I don't think this one will loosen up anymore. No, that's it. So we'll just loosen that up. One half turn. grab another piece. Yeah, that's still squeezing it pretty tight. I'm gonna open these rollers up a little bit. See what that does. You can hear the machine starting to whine now. Once you get that back roller on such an angle, those gears aren't messing right. That's looking good. Little indent on there, but it's not cutting it. We'll run one more. Maybe just loosen that. A little twist and a twist. Yeah, I don't like how that's grinding, but what are you gonna do? So you get into the where you might not be separating it all the way. That's borderline, but I'm happy with that. Forgot to show the time. So we've been stripping for, let's just say, 5 minutes. Getting it set up. All right. Really makes light work. I don't even try to straighten these out. You see how they're all bent? The machine will straighten it right out. Just send it. Alright, I can see we're still cutting tight, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way of trying to loosen this up a little bit. Probably should even this side out. Maybe that's my problem. Main thing is we want it to split the casing. I'm doing a pretty good job here. Yeah, for whatever reason that last one, and this is the problem, this stuff is like a needle. See that? You know how many times I've been stabbed with copper that way, or this aluminum. The aluminum, it's so soft that machine cuts through it like butter. The copper, it's a little tougher, so you can actually squeeze a little harder. So it's a real fine line between cutting this all the way and not cutting into that too deep. So let's see if I can put this somewhere where you can see. I don't know how well that's going to do. Let's see that. And see if I can't start this without stabbing myself. I'm going to put them in there like that. And see what happens. And then I got some smaller diameter. I can already tell I like this. And the one I've been thinking about making, I want like a flat bottom plate with slots in it that I can get wire and wrap around, but still have upright. Actually, I want adjustable uprights on the inside and outside, so I could, you know, keep it tight this way and that way. But we're gonna try a concept right here. It's gonna be, the donuts are always a pain getting them started. Once you got a good base, it pretty much goes. And this one here, I've never done this before, so we're gonna learn together. And the reason for doing this, my customer, or I'm sorry, my buyer, they're an exporter. They don't buy from the general public. So I'm probably like one of their smallest customers, and they don't like me bringing drums. I'll pack these drums with copper wire. I can get about 800 pounds in a drum. The problem is, when you pack that in there like that, it's tight and it's tough to get out. And they don't ship drums. They ship giant boxes, so they have to move it out of the drum into the box. It's really tough on them. I don't like to aggravate them, so I either only do loose wire, spaghetti wire in the drums where they can easily dump it, or that's why I started making the donuts. You know, when I get enough to where it's worth it, I'll make a donut. It's easier on them, and it's actually, once you get it started, it's actually easier just to coil it up into itself on a donut than trying to force it in a tight little drum. You know, you make the donut, see how much bigger it is? It just, especially with bigger wire, it makes it easier. So hopefully I'm going to be doing a lot more wire in the near future. If they don't, or copper wire, I mean. This customer here, they were kind of mad about the job being all aluminum. Well, not mad, but just disappointed, because this all could have been copper cuts. You know, this cuts off of the spools. I seen all these spools like months ago before they did the job. I went there, I was buying some copper, and oh, matter of fact, the last video I showed you where I get my copper, I was buying from that customer, and this aluminum was on the spools, and I looked at it, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna get a lot of good copper off that. And he goes, no, that's aluminum. Shot my dreams of big copper loads down real quick. Anyway, yeah, this is coming along good. Now, the reason why I wanted 2 uprights, adjustable, you got a big coil like this, you want to keep it tight, you can bring it in and just stack it like that, and then you can open it up once you have established wall, and then bring it in, you know, start bringing it in. It's going to be cool. So, throwing it up here, throwing it up here. Bought a whole bunch of communication cable again, and I'm really not happy about not processing it. My granulator's too loud to run over here in this neighborhood. Even though I live next to a car dealership that makes a lot of noise, I get away with a lot, but that's just ridiculous to run that over here. So I'm looking for a warehouse, and where I could actually work and finish all my projects. Okay, the battery died, but so that was that. We ran through a nice little chunk really quick, and established our donut. And now I'm going to run the heck out of this wire. Probably going to put the rest of this on a time lapse. And then just keep running until I'm done. Or I'll probably do half of the pile, clean it up, clean up the insulation, and then do the other pile. It's already getting out of control over here. So let me get this set up. I'm going to find a nice angle where you can see everything. So let me figure that out. Okay, as you can see, we knocked through that little pile real fast. Made quite a bit of mess here. Okay, the donut's coming along good. I'm just going to take a hammer and kind of tap the inside of it a little bit, tighten it up, because we got a lot more coming. I want to make sure it all fits. And it's getting a little top heavy. I don't know. That seems good. Whoa. Okay. That's nerve-wracking. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, we only got this little stuff left, which I'll use to actually tighten up the donut and keep it from falling apart. And this is our pile. It's a little messy, but this will come down pretty quick, and I hope I can get all this on that donut. It's going to be a pretty big donut. Kind of sketchy being on top of that drum. I'm not sure how I'll get it down, but we'll figure it out. Okay, just about got it. Nice sized donut there. I forgot I had a couple more chunks in this. Not much, but we're gonna run that, and then I'm gonna run the smaller wire to tie that up, and then we'll weigh it. But right now, let's see, it's 7 o'clock. I gotta get something to eat. I'm gonna go eat dinner, and then I'll come back out here and mess with this. Okay, I'm back at it. I'm gonna run this last little bit, and then I'm gonna clean this up, and then I'm gonna run the little wire and use it to cinch up the donut, and then I'm gonna unbolt the arms, and I'm just gonna flip it right off there onto the ground, roll it over here, and weigh it up and see what we got. Okay, so I set the machine up. First one went through and was perfect. So I ran them all real quick. I don't know why I'm being invaded by moths, but it's happening. I turned these lights on, which I don't know if you can see. The extension cord with the 2 wires, and then it going up to my LED inlay that's held up there by some wire. You know, possibly 1 or 2 OSHA violations going on, but you know, over here at Project Shop, we've moved beyond OSHA standards and regulations, and we just get shit done. So I'm gonna finish cleaning this up, and then I'm gonna flip this off of here and weigh that with the crane scale. Okay, I got it all cleaned up. That's the little hypodermic needle pieces that got cut. I tried to minimize that as much as possible. It's always tough with aluminum. And then here's the donut. Got it cinched down pretty good. So I loosened these things up, but they're kind of stuck because some of the things went around it. So I'm just going to throw this thing on the ground here and flip it over so I can get to the back side. Let me set this up so I can video it and see if I drop this on myself. Oh shit. Heavier than it looks. Okay. So 8:35. Wasn't bad. Stripped really fast, cleaned up really fast. I was really impressed with how the windmill works. So I took it all the way apart because I wanted to show you how I made this thing. So first thing I did is I took some conduit, and it really doesn't matter what size. I actually should have made this a lot bigger. I mean, this thing should be like a 2-inch, so you can put a big rod, because I put some big old spools of copper on here before, and I bent the rod a couple times. So yeah, I've actually, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut these off and weld them to a bigger one, and that's it. Problem solved. But this is what I did. I took conduit that would slide over it. You know? Shit. You know, and then what you've seen in that video is I actually took these. This is how I normally run them, like this, okay? And it gets me all down to little spools up to there. But then you can flip this. Let me get it over here in this light. Then you can flip this around. Like normally it's like this. When you flip it around, okay, it puts that way out there, and you can actually extend this beyond. Probably keep about 3 inches in there, 2.5, 3 inches. But you can put some huge spools on here. And basically what these were, these had threads on the end. These were anchors. You would anchor that into concrete and then leave the threads exposed, and you would mount a light pole. I get most of my stuff from electricians. I like to repurpose stuff. I get these all the time, you know, because a lot of times they'll get new poles. They'll come with the hardware to mount them in concrete, and they'll just bolt the pole to the existing concrete. You know, it's just a pole that went bad. So, and then what I did here is just welded some nuts on here. Wing nut for the main one. You know, I would have liked to have wing nuts on here, but they were just too close. I mean, you could probably make these longer, and I just wanted everything compact. So, you know, these are the pieces. They're all exactly the same. So if you want to make this, you know, it's just the same size pipe here for that, and whatever you had. I had this stuff laying around. It cost me my time to make this, and I've had it for years, and it works great. And now for this is what I'm thinking. Make something on the ground, or something that I could put up. It was really sketchy sitting on top of this. I would have not been able to do that if that was copper that big. If that was copper, that's about half the size of that 3,700 pound donut I made. So that'd probably be, you know, 1,800 pounds or something if it was copper, or close to 2,000 pounds. But anyway, I'm gonna weigh that, and I'm gonna weigh that, and see how long it took, and you know, see if it's worth actually stripping aluminum wire. Now, I do have to state one thing. With stripping any wire, it doesn't matter if it's copper or aluminum, it's going to ultimately determine how much you're going to make per hour is the thickness of the wire. Now this wire, 99% of what I had was the same thickness, you know, 600 MCM aluminum. So you could really estimate you get a steady per hour production rate. If it was a mix, then you'd have to go, you know, it's going to be different, because your machine's only going to run so many linear feet of wire per minute, you know. So if you're running linear feet of bigger stuff per minute, you're going to produce more pounds. So, you know, you're running this spaghetti wire, linear foot, you're gonna be here all freaking day. Is it worth it? Depends on what you pay for it. I like to strip as much as possible, and I'm working on getting a place so I can run my granulator, because I'm gonna mount my granulator right here. I'm gonna run a pre-shredder where I could just feed this crap into a pre-shredder, and a pre-shredder is gonna operate at a little less capacity of what the granulator could. You know, I'm gonna figure out how much it's gonna take to keep the granulator running non-stop, and then the pre-shredder, you could just pile the stuff in there, and it's just going to slowly chew it up at a rate that the granulator can handle without getting clogged. And I got a really cool idea for a hydrocyclone, and for the water sluice that I'm going to build. It's going to be pretty cool, and I got some upgrades. I'm actually going to do this thing. I've seen some really cool things. I'm trying to get just the parts and add it to this apparatus right here. This thing's going to be, you know, awesome when it's done. So let me figure out how I'm going to get this weighed. Okay, I got the crane scale zeroed out. I hope we got enough stroke left in that hydraulic cylinder there to get this off the ground. We're about to find out. Put this up here. Wow, that is so close to 500 pounds. No wonder I couldn't just pull that off the ground with one hand. 492 pounds. Not bad for an aluminum donut. Definitely wish that was copper, but you know, you can't always get what we want. Now let me see, we might be able to get up to 500 pounds. Where's that little clip? You ever see those people balance wine bottles on the edges? I balance scrap. So we're at 501. I'm gonna say this tub probably weighs 2 pounds, so let's just say 68 pounds. Let's see if that's focused. Is it focused? Yeah, there we go. 68 pounds. All right, now this whole little last bit was way more work than I would have done normally, just because I'm shooting this video. But I'm gonna do the numbers and see where we're at. Okay, so these are the numbers on that aluminum wire. There was 588 pounds of aluminum insulated wire. I paid $60 for it. There was 500 pounds of aluminum, which was 85% of the weight. At a market value of 80 cents a pound, it was worth $400 processed. There was 88 pounds of insulated waste, and it took me 3 hours to get the wire. An hour there, an hour loading it, and an hour back. Took me 3 hours to process it, and it will take me an hour to sell it. So I'm gonna add $20 for food and fuel. So let's say there was $320 worth of profit in 7 hours. That comes out to $45.71 per hour. Not bad for some aluminum. You guys want to see something cool? Check this out. This is one of the many things that machine, the stator wrecker machine that I'm building, is going to be able to do. So those are electric motors from like an AC, the AC unit, like the squirrel fans that are in there. You see that? He just ripped the metal right off the stator, and this same machine will actually push out the core and split the stator and pull out the copper. It's pretty impressive. This is actually removing the copper from the stator once he splits it. This guy is a pro. I've never seen anything like this machine. This is a one machine does all for recycling electric motors and stators. He even splits the inside of a what do you call it, an alternator, that funny looking metal thing, you know, that's like this. There's two of them. He splits it, pulls copper right out. It's amazing. Oh yeah, remember I told you it'll do transformers as well? Look what he's doing here. He's just coming down on the transformer with so much force. With a blade, he's just splitting it, and then he uses that thing to pull the copper out. This is the most versatile, impressive electric motor stator wrecker machine I've found on the internet, which is why I'm replicating it. There you go. Ripping the copper right out the transformer. Done. No blades, nothing. No wear and tear on any blades. I mean, this is like my transformer machine. It's just non-stop. You know, it's all hydraulic. Look at that. Like a boss. Okay, one last thing. If you come this far, thanks for watching. I just want to tell you guys, in my last video where I told you about where I find my customers, you know, if you're looking on that website, If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the end of the exploded battery video, and I'll show you where I find all my contacts to get these all this copper and transformers and stuff. But anyway, if you're going to be cold calling electricians, I want to give you a little piece of advice that I learned the hard way. Do not, under any circumstances, call up and say, hey, this is such and such with such and such recycling. Okay? An electrician gets 10 calls a week from people wanting to buy their copper wire. Man, when I was doing cold calls trying to get customers, I had people hanging up on me. They'd get mad at me. They'd be like, oh, so you're not calling to have me come out there and do a job for you? You know, and it's just crazy. And I'll tell you something else. How to get past the secretaries. Because if you cold call one of these companies, 90% of the time, you're going to get a secretary on the phone. You know, her job is to keep you from getting to the people, you know, in the back. You know, because you're a solicitor. You're soliciting. They don't want to hear from you. What I learned to do is call up and be very vague about what your real intentions are. I mean, it's kind of shady, but this is what I did. I'd call up and I'd ask them a technical question. Now, when I started, I was looking for transformers. That's all I was looking for. I wasn't even looking for copper wire. So what I did, call up and say something along the lines of this. Hey, do you guys do any type of HID lighting maintenance? Okay, now first of all, not everybody knows what that means. It's very simple. It means, do you change light bulbs and ballast, basically. It's real simple. But it's in it's worded kind of like in a complicated manner. So my goal, what that was that she would be thinking, oh, I don't know, let me ask the service manager. That's who I wanted to talk to. So once you got to the service manager, now for me, 10 years ago, there really wasn't a big market for transformers. So when I finally got to the person on the phone and I went through my spiel and I told him, hey, you know, I'm looking, and this is what I said. I never once said I was a recycler. I said, hey, what I do is I purchase and process burned up ballast and transformers. And I give you a free container, I have free pickup, and I pay you cash on the spot for them. Half the time, the people were like, wow, I had no idea there was a market for them. We've been throwing them in the garbage for 20 years. So it was like shooting fish in a barrel. And I never asked for copper wire. I asked for a specific thing that I knew at the time that they were probably throwing in the garbage. So telling them that you'd come pay them for them, some people didn't even believe me until I showed up and actually paid them for the transformers. And back in the day, before LEDs came along, man, I tell you, there was a lot of them, and it was definitely better than working for someone. But anyway, there's still millions of them out there, and if you want to, you know, try to get some electricians as customers, it's a good way to get your foot in the door with them without offending them right off the bat. Because if you call up and you say, hey, I'm a recycler, I'm looking to buy copper wire, they're going to do whatever they can to get you off the phone, because they get 10 calls a week, and they've probably already got like an established person or a place they go. You know, it's going to be hard to get in. But once you get in and you provide them a great service, a lot of times, because I offer free pickup service, that right there, just you showing up to their office where they don't have to spend their time and labor loading the crap up, you know, and as long as you're paying a good fair price, they'll love it. And then there's actually one other service that I provide specifically, like electricians and demo people, that I'll get into in another video. That'll really get you in the door with the people. It's a little secret that I've held on for a while, you know, and I'll let you guys in on it here soon, shortly. So once again, if you come this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody that's been subscribing to the channel. One last thing, if you're on Facebook, check out my Facebook page, Project Scrap. If you make scrapping videos, feel free to upload them here. If you're a YouTube creator and you make videos on how-to, this is basically for like how-to videos, you know, like showing someone how you do it. Now, check this out. This guy, he posted a video of a machine he made to split stators. He made it out of a log splitter, and I was really impressed with it. So I think he is a AC contractor by trade, and he made this to split. Now, I have actually seen this machine, and I was wanting to build this, and now that I've seen him build it and how easy it worked as a DIY unit, I'm probably going to incorporate something like this in my stator wrecker as well. So, you know, go check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching.